I would like to now invite my first speaker for this session, which is from IBM. And they are also our platinum sponsors, Asif Ahmad, GM and technology leader. So, Asif. All yours.
So, assalamu alaikum, everyone. And, I think I still see people coming in, but the audience that you have gathered, Kamran, speaks for the quality of this event. I see a lot of leaders in this room and a lot of future leaders, hopefully, in this room as well. So, thank you for organizing this, to your extended team, and to all the sponsors who made it possible. When I look at the schedule, the event plan, I was quite happy to see very relevant topics are being, hopefully will be discussed today. And the lineup of your speakers is nothing but high quality. So I'm sure we all have so much to learn from each other today, and I hope we'll use this day to the best of our abilities to learn from each other and move forward in our lives. When I was being asked to come and speak at the event, so it took me back in time. मुझे याद है जब मैंने अपना करियर स्टार्ट किया और उस वक्त कोई अगर मुझे कहता कि I have to speak about a topic, I would be gladly, happily, very pleasantly be talking about programming languages, algorithms, design patterns, unified modeling language, and so on. और उस वक्त से अभी तक the kind of technological advancement that our industry witnessed is nothing but incredible. I mean, we pick up the areas, and I think our generation, plus minus 10 years, so I'll cover everyone here, or at least most of the people here. We have been very fortunate because जो technological advancement हम लोगों ने witness की, what we experienced, is phenomenal. मेरा नहीं ख्याल कि हमसे पहले दुनिया में इस तरह की टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट एक लाइफ टाइम में किसी भी और जनरेशन ने एक्सपीरियंस किया है. फ्यूचर आई डोंट नो, बट फॉर पास्ट फॉर श्योर. If we talk of evolution, starting from, I remember my first computer, it was an XT system, or I was brought up in a small town near Islamabad. तो जो मेरा पर्सनल कंप्यूटर था उसकी 640 KB की मेमोरी थी, एंड इट हैज़ अ कलर्ड ग्राफिकल इंटरफेस, CGA जिसे हम कहते थे. इट वाज द ओनली वन इन दैट स्मॉल टाउन. वहाँ से आज तक का सफ़र हैज़ बीन अमेजिंग. ट्रांजिस्टर्स पे, इफ़ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, फर्स्ट नोबेल प्राइज़ 1956 में दिया गया था. और लुक एट वेयर वी आर टुडे, फ्रॉम दैट फर्स्ट ट्रांजिस्टर टू potential quantum computing, hybrid cloud, and it's also the journey to hybrid cloud. Artificial intelligence, which is the theme for today's event. You talk of automation, cognitive process automation, robotic process automation, and whatnot. You speak of information security. I'm in amazing growth, So the evolution has been amazing when it comes to technology, and we are very fortunate to be experiencing that. अच्छा, हमारे मुल्क में भी, पाकिस्तान में भी हमने, I see some younger lot in the room as well, and I can tell you कि when I was graduating, my friends from electronics engineering and mechanical engineering, वो आते थे और हमसे वो उर्दू अखबार में ना रिश्तों के एड्स होते थे जिसमें इंजीनियर्स या डॉक्टर्स के लिए रिश्ता होता था और सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स के साथ माजरत होती थी. तो दे विल कम एंड शो इट टू अस, you guys did the wrong thing. And right now, the younger lot, you are the hottest commodity in the world, right? So it's been an amazing journey, Anyways, while we talk about different technologies, there's so much to speak about, and most of these technologies are at the core of the business. वो IT, एक ज़माने में आपको याद होगा IT, शायद आप सबको ना याद हो, but probably the elder ones would remember कि when you tell someone that you are an IT professional, the first impression people will make is that probably you are there to fix some personal computers or some smaller routers. From there, to this day where IT is in the core of a business, of every business strategy. Just look around you, the most successful organization in today's world. Go and have a look at the market capitalization of different organizations on New York Stock Exchange, and you'll find, I don't know, 90% technology firms. This is what has changed. So it is very difficult, but just to align myself with today's theme, I thought let's talk about generative AI and let's talk about AI. So AI का मेरे ख्याल से एक और मुनफरिद चीज़ जो AI में है वो ये है कि AI is, and generative AI will eventually be applicable to all the other technologies that we are talking about today, right? So, for example, information security में generative AI का एक बड़ा major role होगा. अभी भी है, and in future it's only going to increase. So I thought कि ठीक है, let's pick up the generative AI and let's talk about it. Achha, before I start sharing my thoughts on generative AI, I think one thing which is being said, and I've seen it happening by myself, is the only constant is change. Or as they say, change is the only constant. चीज़ें चेंज होती रही और जनरेटिव एआई को भी समझने के लिए या इस पे एक अच्छी कॉन्वर्सेशन के लिए, विच इज़ द थीम ऑफ टुडे, एंड आई नो दैट अ लॉट विल बी डिस्कस्ड, वी ऑल्सो नीड टू लुक एट द हिस्ट्री ऑफ जनरेटिव एआई. हम आज जिस जनरेटिव एआई को देख रहे हैं, एक्सपीरियंस कर रहे हैं, मैजिकल एक्सपीरियंस आई वुड से, वेल मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स इट्स जस्ट मैथ्स एंड साइंस, बट इट सीम्स मैजिकल. उसकी बुनियाद क्या थी? व्हाट वर द फाउंडेशन ब्लॉक्स और बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक्स of what we experience today, right? So I want to start off with data. As we know that data is the only sustainable competitive advantage in today's business. अगर हम data को equation से निकाल दें, तो बहुत सारी technological advancements that we experience today would not have been possible, right? So starting from, I'm sure आप में से कुछ लोगों को याद होगा वो हमारा focus on rows and columns and attributes and being able to do transactions successfully. उधर से ये journey start हुआ when we starting identifying relationships between different data points which revealed patterns. Patterns ने sequences को identify किया, and that is how the whole journey started. But ये सारी journey किस पे based थी? It was based on data. So data in the past was very important. Data played a very critical role for us to come to this stage where we are today. And data is going to further help us. So, and when I'll talk about the AI strategy, I will also make certain suggestions on how seriously and how critically you need to manage your data. Achha, दूसरा aspect which I believe is very important, and most of the people, I don't know, ignore it when we talk of artificial intelligence in today's world, is raw compute power. As I mentioned, पहला transistor का Nobel Prize 1956 में issue किया गया था, but just take the infrastructure, the compute power, the storage, and at whatever cost we get it today, if you take that out of the equation, there will be no number crunching, there will be no insights, there will be no neural networks. So infrastructure remains extremely critical. It is the advancement in infrastructure which helped us reach to where we are today. And the last thing which most of us, most of the times believe is generative AI is the models, foundation models or large language models as we talk about. अच्छा, इसके अंदर भी एक amazing journey रही इसकी, और ये journey बहुत पुरानी नहीं है. ये journey पिछले आप समझ लें तकरीबन 10 साल की है. When we started speaking about deep learning, we started speaking about machine learning, और उसके अंदर भी the most amazing part is from supervised learning to self-supervised learning. और इसके अंदर बहुत सारे different architectures हैं generative AI में. I'm sure most of you are aware of those, but I think after the transformer architecture came in, so the supervised learning became possible, and we could only work at a scale when we had this kind of architecture in place. So scale के मसले को, because machine learning, deep learning was happening before as well, but it was supervised, so human interventions were required. And this I'm not talking about 50 years ago, I'm talking about 7-8 years ago. Supervised learning scale पर करना was almost next to impossible. Only very large organizations could afford it. But with transformers, with self-supervised learning, things became possible. I think these are, I mean, there can be multiple more, areas, fronts that probably people can discuss. But I believe that where we are today, these three things played a very, very critical role in reaching where we are. Moving forward, and also in the interest of time, um, I, by virtue of my role and what I do, I am very fortunate to be interacting with a lot of organizations, government officials, private sector organizations, public sector organizations, different industries, banking, telecom, manufacturing, services industry, and all. I have noticed a couple of things, and I want to leave my thoughts with you. When you start, if you have already started your strategy around artificial intelligence and its consumption, there are a couple of things that you need to be very cautious of. As I mentioned, data remains the key. So please, when you define your strategy, make sure that transparency and trust. When I say transparency and trust, you should be able to understand and explain why AI takes a certain decision. If you are not able to do it, you will start to have problems. That is my second point, which we call the ethical side of business, because then your AI will become biased. Something very common these days, which is called AI hallucinations. Those can start. Bullying के incidents AI में experience किए गए. It is primarily because of the data with which AI was fed. So make sure that you have a very, very strong data strategy when you are planning your AI strategy. And you keep transparency, you keep trust, you keep ethics. Your model should be trained on legally accessible, clean data. That's a very important thing. Moving on, your models. अच्छा, बहुत से लोग, what I experience is that they assume that your large language model, and without taking names, but there are many GBTs there, Meta का Llama hai, IBM Granite hai. They assume that just having the large language model, you are on your journey. So no, you are not. It is a part of your journey. It's a very critical part, but it's a part. You need to make sure that you choose a platform which gives you a choice of models between proprietary, open source, and third party. If you don't have a choice, because आपको याद होगा जब cloud की story बहुत ज़्यादा start हुई आज से 6-7 साल पहले, at least I'm coming from IBM. IBM always kept its stance that it's not going to be one cloud. It's going to be multiple cloud, multi-cloud strategy. Similarly, I tell you, it is not going to be one model. It is going to be multiple models, which will help you achieve your use cases and your targets in your journey of AI. So make sure that you have a choice of models and you use different models for different use cases. Those models ideally should be trained on enterprise-wide information, organizational data, and you should be able to fine-tune those models with your organizational data. That will become your biggest, largest competitive advantage, and you really need to protect that. A little bit more about these models. Abhi tak, when we speak of these models, we talk of language, be it English, be it French, be it German, or be it Arabic. But you need to understand the technology and the capability behind these large language models. This is huge amount of data with high-end compute power, with the right clever algorithms. We can create interlinkages between them. And that is what gives us the edge. Now, imagine the same can be applied on so many other things. Just redefine language. Don't think a language is English or Urdu or our national languages. For example, I'm coming from an IT background. For me, Python is a language. If these models can learn English or Arabic, these models can learn Java and Python and so much more as well. And that is where they develop their ability to generate their own real stuff, right? So make sure that you have a very clear strategy when it comes to using models and pick up the right partner. The last thing, which again is not, it's something that it's coming up, are compliance issues. Your AI model should be able to comply itself with your organizational policies. It should be able to comply itself with your industry practices, with the local laws of your country. Abhi European Union has released their AI framework. When you choose your AI journey, you need to make sure that it complies with the regulations, data privacy के laws, जो भी laws हैं, उनके साथ comply करना चाहिए. So these are a couple of things that I thought I will speak about, and a little bit about what IBM has to offer in this space. So IBM का एक बड़ा journey है अपना AI का. I'm sure many of you would remember when Deep Blue played chess, when Watson played Jeopardy. So we've been working in this domain for over 70 years now. 1950s से IBM has been part of this AI advancement and research and all. I think IBM Watson X can be a very, very good proposition, and I would suggest all of you to evaluate that, because this framework gives you the access to manage your data, regulate your data, and choose a model from a variety of models, including IBM proprietary models, as well as third-party and open source models. Myself and my team will be available if any one of you want to understand more, so I'll be open, and we will be happy to share our thoughts. Before I leave, use cases. Every day, new use cases are coming up. And most of us, since this is a CIO summit, and I believe most of us are from the IT background, तो कभी कभार मुझे हंसी भी आती है कि for many, many years, we will go into different industries and into different functions. और हम जाके उनको disrupt कर देते थे. So हमने बड़ी disruption की industries में for good. Interestingly, with generative AI, our own creation is disrupting the IT industries as well. I mean, this technology can generate and write beautiful piece of code. This can help modernize applications. Agar koi purani legacy application is in Fortran, and your model understands Fortran, and your model understands one of the newer language, it's a game of minutes before it can transform. So वो उर्दू का मुहावरा है, जैसी करनी वैसी भरनी. So the IT industry is also disrupted in a very good way, and we all need to embrace this change. We need to have our strategy. It's a matter of time, because just pace pe kaam ho raha hai. It's a matter of time. If you don't have, and I was discussing it with a friend just before before my speech, that if we miss on this, we are going to miss on business. We will be very irrelevant. So with this, I thank you all for your patience and listening to me, and looking forward to a great day. Thank you very much, everyone.